Hello guys, and welcome to another video. And this one we're going to be discussing the new Devour support gem that was teased yesterday. And this one is a bit strange, so the footage in the background that you can see is the Devour support in action. And the teaser came with a little bit of text to introduce the support gem here. So it says, the Devour support causes killing blows from supported skills to consume corpses to recover life and mana. Perfect for the peckish Exile. So this support will consume corpses if the supported skill deals the killing blow, and it will recover life and mana. We don't know the numbers on the gem once again, but you can see from the footage that this support gem grants instant recovery for life and mana instead of recovery over time, and as you can see, there is actually quite a considerable delay between the time of the killing blow and the animation and recovery of life and mana from the consumed corpses. And this support gem can be seen as something similar to the Disciple of Devour keystone, which consumes corpses to instantly recover life and mana, or the ability that's granted by the Devouring Diadem unique, the Feast of Flesh ability, which also consumes corpses to recover life, mana, and energy shield. However, both the Feast of Flesh ability and the Disciple of Devour keystone recover life, mana, or energy shield instantly upon corpse consumption. Whereas it's unclear from the footage if this support actually immediately consumes the corpse upon killing blow and then the animation and recovery takes a while to take place, or whether the corpses could actually be consumed by something else in the brief period between the killing blow and the consumption. This is unclear. And the difference here between these abilities specifically is going to be that the new Devour support gem requires the supporting skill to actually deal the killing blow, to then consume the corpse and recover life and mana, whereas both the Disciple of Devour keystone and the Feast of Flesh ability just require corpses to be present so they're able to be consumed. Now, my initial impressions of this gem is that it's quite weak. After reviewing the possible interactions, I'm still not convinced that this gem will be particularly useful on the large majority of builds. And unfortunately, as we lack the gem numbers, I'll be very interested to see if this support gem has some damage on it, like for example the damage modifier on Life Tab, which is significantly lower than other damage supports, but goes with the utility provided by the gem to create a competitive option to solve mana cost problems and other complexities. So I'd be interested to see if the Devour support will have some form of damage modifier on it, even if it's only 10 or 20% more damage. Now, as for use cases for this new support, I think you may be able to replace your 6th gem while mapping with hit-based builds, as you're often in a situation where damage isn't really a problem while mapping, and this support may provide a more comfortable experience with the recovery and probably more importantly the corpse denial that it provides. But I'm not convinced by this use case, and I can't really see it being picked up very often, especially considering that at this stage of a character's progression, if damage is solved enough to a point where you can drop an entire support link, then you're likely to be just fine in terms of recovery as well. Although, as this gem recovers both life and mana, there is a possibility there for the use of this gem on a mana stacking build to help with the large mana costs such as Archmage or even Indigon, and this may well prove to be one of the best uses of this new support gem. But what other use cases are there? Well, the Necromancer's Corpse Pact notable is the most obvious, as this Ascendancy node grants increased attack and cast speed for each corpse consumed recently. So this new support gem can potentially provide an incredible amount of attack and cast speed, and will likely end up being more damage in a mapping setting than a raw damage link, especially in a juicy map. And at the very least, it will likely feel a lot better to play with faster speed over raw damage. There's some potential there for use with the Wilma's Requital unique helmet, which grants Ancestral Bond, and also applies increased cast speed to attack speed, so Corpse Pact would then grant 4% increased attack speed per corpse consumed recently, and you could have a giant amount of ramping attack speed for your totems in juiced up maps. But then you do need to somehow find yourself with an attack-based totem build on Necromancer. Just something to consider though, that might be quite interesting. And lastly, I think the most common use case for this new Devour support will likely be in some form of culling setup on a variety of builds, for example in a Reckoning link on a Gladiator build, where you just have the cull setup to provide consistent recovery during mapping. And one thing that should be noted about the recovery provided by this support is that it won't be impacted by map modifiers which reduce recovery rate, as it's instant recovery, so that's a nice workaround too. But overall, of all of the support gems that we've been shown so far that are coming in this patch, this is the one that I'm really not too sure about. As I mentioned before, I'd like to see a damage modifier on here, even if it's only 10 or 20%, because I really don't see it being used too often if it's genuinely a purely utility-based support gem. But perhaps we'll get some interesting changes in the patch notes which will make this support more appealing. What do you make of this new Devour support gem? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, a big shout out to my channel members, I'm grateful for your support. We're just one day out now from the patch notes for 3.22 Trial of the Ancestors, so I'm looking forward to getting the juicy information and then get some content up about all of the big changes in the days ahead. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned and stay safe.